Hello, so we're going to have a look at shooting and getting bullets sorted on this. So let's go over to the code. We've got our asteroid class, we've got our ship class, and we've got our game class. And what we're going to do, unsurprisingly, is add another class, and we're going to do this one for bullets. So this is for an individual bullet, and you can create multiple instances of this. Okay, so unsurprisingly it's a sprite, and we need to do the usual setup just to give it all the sprite stuff so Pygame knows how to handle it properly. So we got that, and we've got the update. Awesome. So we got our sprite set up there. Still needs a bit of work, but that's a start. Okay, now let's have a look at when we're creating each of the other sprites. So the game classes. So the game class is being created outside. That's essentially the only two lines of the program. It's creating a game and running it. The ship is being created when the game starts, and then an asteroid is being created by the game as well. And then down here, if you've actually done the task, each asteroid is being created by the game. Now that makes sense. It wouldn't make sense having a ship creating the asteroids. So what creates the bullets? Now an asteroid obviously doesn't. The game doesn't really create the bullet. It's more of the ship which creates the bullet. When you press the spacebar, or whatever shoot key you want, then the ship creates a bullet and fires it in the right direction. So if we go up to the ship class, which is here, we've got all the key handling. So we can say, okay, if the keys pygame dot space is pressed, then pew. So now this should be a very simple change in that when we press space it should say pew. There we go. Okay, so we want it, instead of saying pew, we want it to create a bullet and then add that bullet to all sprites as we did with the asteroids and the ship. Awesome. Now there's a slight problem here. All sprites, that isn't part of the ship. It doesn't know what all sprites is. It's part of the game. There it is, self.allsprites. Now we need to be able to access that value, that variable, from inside the ship. Now the easiest way to do that, instead of having all sorts of jiggery pokery and trying to get the game to trigger the fire and all the rest, we can just pass the game into the ship. So the game, because we're in the game class, the game is referred to as self, so we can pass self, which is the game, into the ship. So now we go up to the ship, and we need to say it needs to expect one extra argument, which is game. So then we can just say self.game equals game. And now, when we add it to all sprites, we can say self.game.allsprites add the bullet. Awesome, that's sorted. We should, however, add a little bit more to our bullet. Let's have an X coordinate, say 300, a Y coordinate about the same. Just picking the values at the moment, just randomly, so we get something displaying on the screen. We'll need an image, so let's create an image. Now instead of loading it from a file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own. So I'm creating a surface, which is like a blank canvas, and I'm creating it 20 wide by 3 high, and I'm giving it an alpha background, which is a transparent background, so if it turns, you can see, you don't just get a square. Okay, so on that image, I'm going to draw a rectangle. Drawing it on the original image, and the color I'm going to draw it is 255255, which is yellow, so a nice yellow laser, and it's going to be 0 in position 0 0 of a width 20 and a height of 3. So that's where I'm drawing my rectangle. And for the time being, let's just say that the image is exactly the same. We'll change that in a minute. Okay, we also need the rectangle, which we'll just get from the image. And that will be self.x and self.y, as we've got already written up here. So that should create a bullet at position 300, 300, and it will just sit there when we press the space button. There we go. Created a bullet, and it sits there not doing anything. Okay, so we had code to move things before. What did we have before for the ship? Ah, there we go. That code looks useful. Blatant plagiarism. Best person to steal from is yourself. Okay, so after that, then I'll need to update the rect again. Actually, just copy it from there. Okay, we need a thrust, and that will just be the speed which the bullet goes. Let's try that. Does that move forward? Pew! There we go. So we got the bullets. They're currently going upwards because I haven't changed the direction, and they're currently starting in the middle of nowhere because I haven't told it a sensible place to start, but we got the bullets going. You'll notice the bullets don't actually turn either. They're all going sideways at the moment. But that's not a problem. We've got the basics working. Okay, so what shall we do next? Okay, let's try and get it so it's actually starting at the right location. Now, what we had with the game and the ship was that we passed in the entire game onto ship so we could handle it. Now, the ship needs to tell the bullet where it needs to start and which direction it needs to go. So we can say, okay, bullet, the ship passes into bullet the x coordinate, the y coordinate, and the direction should be useful as well. So that's what is passing into the bullet now. We need to get the bullet to match. If you have them different, then you're going to get all sorts of issues. So we're expecting x, y, and direction. We've already got the values set up here with temporary values, so we can just overwrite them with the values which are passed in from the ship, and suddenly, as if by magic, it loads. Okay, so that's working nicely when it's sideways, but when it goes down, it's still shooting it sideways, but it's launching from the right place and it's going in the right direction. Okay, so we're drawing the image. All we need to do is just rotate the image once we've created it. And to do that, we can just use the Pygame transform rotate option. We're rotating the original image and we're rotating it in that direction. Given we're not doing it multiple times, yes, we could just use the same image both times, but hey, we've done it that way and we're happy with that, so keep it like that. So that should be shooting in the right direction. Beautiful. Now this seems like it's a little bit of an easy shooter, because you can just do that and spam the entire screen. So what would be nice is if the ship wasn't allowed to just shoot repeatedly. And to do that, we can use a module called time. So if we just use the Python command line down here, import time, time.time gives the current time in seconds and decimal places as well. So what we can do is we can store the time of the last shot, compare that to the current time, and see if we're allowed to shoot again. Okay, so we got shoot, we got the ship, we've got last shot, which was never, and the cooldown, which we'll put at 0.5 seconds. Okay, so now we can say if the time.time, the current time, minus self.last shot is greater than self.cooldown, then we can shoot and update last shot to be the current time. Otherwise, we just can't shoot. Let's try that. There we go. So that's made it a bit more limited and a bit more challenging. Okay, the other issue that we've got doesn't look like much of an issue, but it'll be good to get it tidied while we can. Because if I go over to here and I shoot all the way down here, the bullet is just continuing forever and ever and ever. If we just shoot straight across this way, the x-coordinate went to 0 and it kept on going in minus numbers, and it's just carrying on and on and on and on and on and on. Would be nice if we didn't have to compute it. Would be nice if we just limited it just for increased difficulty. So let's see, we can use similar logic if we wish. Let's have a look at the bullet code. Now what we want is a lifespan. We can set that at, say, 200. Now whenever we update, we always move forward thrust in total. Yes, we split it amongst the x and y, but we always go forward thrust. Therefore, we can change lifespan by self.thrust. And then we can say if self.lifespan is less than 0, then destroy the bullet. And that is a really simple command, just self.kill. Otherwise, proceed normally. Okay, let's have a look at that, see what that does. So see where the bullet goes to. So now we can see that it stops about there. Now we know that the screen is 800 by 600, so let's change the lifespan to about 500. Okay, that looks a bit better. So the bullet's going most of the screen, but not all the way. And if we shoot diagonally over there, it doesn't go all the way, just goes about there. Makes it a bit more difficult. Awesome. So that is the game shooting at the moment. Next video we'll look at collisions, both the bullets into the asteroids and the asteroid into the player. So try and get that all sorted, and I'll see you on the next video.